Hello everyone and welcome to Andy's Shed Live. This is series 13, episode number 7. Here we are. And hello Christopher, who has already found us there in the old chat. As you can see, I'm not in my normal place tonight. I am once again in the loft. That's because things are a little bit different today to how they would normally be. So it's going to be a shortened show today because, as I say, we're kind of running on reduced power here at the minute for me to do this. But I just thought I would come in here and see. Oh, that is rather bright, that, isn't it? Why is that picture so bright? No idea at all. But hello, Christopher, and hello, all. I don't know how many people there are that have found us on here at the minute. Quite a lot probably think we're not on. But I did manage to get back. I did manage to get the boat back. That was out and about. We did manage to do it. Oh, Dominic's found us. Evening, Dominic. Yeah, the boat has arrived at the marina. Whether we'll ever be able to get it out of the marina again that it's gone into, because it's a very tight fit, remains to be seen, but it has arrived at the arena. So it's only took 3 days to do like about 30 miles with it. But yeah, it's arrived safely. So yeah, we're now we are now where we are supposed to be with it. Yeah, so about the lighting, it's not very good, the lighting in here, is it? It's got the big fluorescent light and it does weird things with the camera. But yeah, so here we are, like I say, for a very quick show on this Sunday afternoon. I'm just trying to make the chat reappear. Live chat, there it is. Christopher says dial's playing up on one of his phones. Take it apart, Christopher. Give it a clean. It'll be all right in the end, I'm sure. He says, I can see your new telephone switchboard. Yes, there's 2 of them up there somewhere now. Yeah, there are indeed 2 of them there. Yeah, all right, I'm just reading the chat as it's going up. If you're not with us at the moment, we are of course in the YouTube chat. If you want to join in, we are there, but we won't be there for much longer because we are moving away from YouTube at the end of October. Yeah. The reason for it is I've had a message from YouTube that says from the beginning of November onwards, they are going to remove the ability to make all your ads skippable. So from November 1st, YouTube will be able to enforce full playing ads that maybe play for even 2 or 3 minutes before you can watch a video. So who's going to sit through that? The ads are already the most annoying thing in the world. I don't put internal ads on these videos. There's only a couple that play before them, and this one's not been monetized at all today, because they decided they were going to try and partially demonetize last week's video for some reason. God only knows why. So from November the 1st, we will be coming to you on the Odyssey platform. Odyssey spelled Odyssee. That's Odyssee.com. Odyssey.com. We will be on that platform and that platform only from November the 1st. Now, if you don't know how to find us on Odyssey, then then just go to the website, andyshed.colepress.net, and there will be a live page on there that will be updated, and you will be able to catch the live stream on there instead. And there will be a link on there to click to switch you over to the Odyssey page that's just like this and has got the live chat on, so that you'll still be able to have the interactive chat. There will still be a community there. It's just that the platform that is hosting it will be different. And yes, I totally agree with you, Dominic. It is very sneaky of YouTube. It says, you wonder if they'll force it on shorter videos too. They're going to force it on all videos, Dominic. Any video that is monetized, they will have the ability to force full long form ads onto. Of course, they're not wording it like that. What they're saying is we will automatically select the best ad to suit your video to make it better for you. But of course, you can immediately see through anything like that YouTube says. That's how it's going to be going. Miguel says, hi all, how does Odyssey work? I joined but don't know whether I can put vids up. Yes, Miguel. Odyssey works in a different way. The back end of Odyssey works in an entirely different way to how YouTube works, and it's funded in a different way to how YouTube is funded. But all you need to know as a user, and all I need to know as a user, is that basically, from our point of view, it works in a very, very similar way to YouTube for the user. It's the back end, the technical stuff that you don't see, that is different. It basically works on a peer-to-peer network, Odyssey, using something called library. Now, ages and ages and ages ago, I did a video on this channel called something like how to use library. So if you go back and you do a search on that, that explains what library is and how it works. And it's lbry.com. When I call it library, it's actually lbry.com is the site for it. And you'll find out that they've been going through a lawsuit and all kinds of things with the US government. Basically, it's no fault of library. It's just that they found something and the US government is trying to get some money out of them because they found a new way of doing things. They basically invented a new form of currency that wasn't registered with the US government. Hi, Wesley. Wesley's here. It says, hi all. I'm on the last day of my holidays and I'll watch this later when I'm back. That's fine, Wesley. Yeah, we will see you when you return from your holes. It'll be here. Hope you're enjoying your holidays. I've been on a boat for the last 3 days, so that's been kind of like a little holiday for me. Paul is here as well. Hi, Paul. Nice to see you. You're here as well. Yeah, for anybody who wasn't around at the beginning of this, when I was talking about it, from November 1st, or whatever Sunday is the first Sunday from November 1st onwards, this stream will be switching to the odyssey.com platform and will no longer be on YouTube. It may get uploaded to YouTube later, but it certainly won't be live on YouTube. Let's put it that way. So you might still be able to watch it back on YouTube later, as well as watch it back later on Odyssey, but it will only be live on the Odyssey platform from November 1st. So there's basically, another month and a half to go, because that's when YouTube is changing all the rules. And I've decided enough is enough of YouTube taking the mick. Actually, it's not monetized this. Enough is enough of YouTube taking the piss. Yeah, demonetize this video if you dare. Yeah, we will be on Odyssey from beginning of November, basically. And I've already tried it. and it is a much smoother platform than YouTube as well. If you ever get pixelated videos and stuff like that on YouTube, Odyssey is way smoother. Right, what's everybody saying in the chat? It said, Christopher says, this is a good one of your new switchboard. Oh, Keith's here as well. Hi, Keith. And Fungy's here as well. Hello, Fungy Phipps. And Bill's is here. Evening, Andy. You're not in the office today. No, I've moved, Bills. I've moved. Dominic says, YouTube always seems very arbitrary with their decisions. Yeah, the problem with YouTube, Dominic, is they will take a decision either for you or against you, but they will never tell you why they've taken a decision. They'll say something like, we're demonetizing a video because it breaks our guidelines. But they will never tell you what guideline you've broken. They'll never say, like, oh, you swore in a video or something like that. They won't tell you what you've done. They'll tell you something's happened in that video that breaks their guidelines, but they won't tell you what. And that's what everybody gets upset with them about, that they won't say what. You can't learn from it because they won't tell you what it is that you've done wrong. Now, my theory is the real reason they do it, the real reason they demonetize your videos is basically to save them some pennies. So they don't have to pay you. Because if they demonetize your video, if I say like fuck in the middle of a video, they'll demonetize the video. They'll demonetize this one now. But when you watch it back, they will still play adverts in it. So they'll demonetize it and not pay you for it, but they will still play ads in it. Which is wrong, in my opinion. And so, means we're getting into it, I'll explain to you how Odyssey works. When you watch a YouTube video, YouTube is hosted. All the videos on YouTube are hosted on Google servers. And this is why they say YouTube doesn't actually make money. Because every video, and it's something like, is it something like 70 hours of video are uploaded every second to YouTube? So every second that goes by, another 70 hours of video are uploaded to it. I think it's like, it's some crazy figure, something like that anyway. And it's all hosted by Google. Now, as anybody who's ever filled up their hard drive on their computer will know, how the hell do you host all that content? How many hard drives have they got? So this is why YouTube tries to make money, because they try and pay for all this, basically all these data centers that they must need to host everything. But, and here's the but to it, how is that going to go on? Expanding and expanding and expanding. And if it needs that many data centers and stuff to host all that content, which it must do, then where are they? Have you ever seen one? Have you ever seen a YouTube data center? No, neither have I. So yeah, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? But Odyssey works in a different way. Odyssey is a website that distributes that hosts and distributes its content via something called library, the library protocol. And what library is, it's kind of peer-to-peer, where you can download from library.com, I think it is, the library software. If you're on a desktop computer, you can download the library or lboy.com software. And if you run that on your computer, you then become a library host, and it's peer-to-peer. So when somebody uploads a video to Odyssey, let's say Miguel uploaded one of his videos, because I know he's got a YouTube channel. Let's see he uploads one of his videos to Odyssey. What happens is all his video gets split up into little bits, and all the people hosting, who are library hosts, get sent a little bit and gets video, and it sits on their computers. Now, because it's so many people all over the world, there's always a computer on that's got all the bits of that video. So what library then does is reassembles those bits into a video. So instead of your video that you're watching being broadcast basically from YouTube server, a bit will be from this chap's library enabled computer, and a bit will be from that chap's library enabled computer, and that person's a library enabled computer, and that person's library enabled computer. And even if all those computers are off, the people at library, I believe, do have some servers themselves. But this distributed thing is important, because if library got nobbled by either a terrorist attack, or worse still, the government finding a way of closing them down, then because it's distributed, even if their central hub closed down, provided people are still running the library software on their computers, and it runs on Windows and Linux and Mac and everything, provided people are still keeping the network alive, it doesn't need a central hub to work. It's very similar to how Napster used to be, and if anybody knows anything about peer-to-peer file sharing, that's the kind of thing it works on. So your videos are all out there. Now, the beauty of this is it means you cannot delete a video that's uploaded to library. It's impossible. Odyssey can delete a video. Well, they can't delete it. What they can do is they can not show it when you type a search in to Odyssey, and it searches through all the videos up on the library network. If Odyssey decides it's something that violates their policy, and basically Odyssey say you can put anything on as long as it's not illegal. Stuff like certain porn sites, stuff relating to drugs and that, anything that might be a legal activity, Odyssey, it's still out there in the library network, because anything can go out there into the library network. There's no censorship on it at all. But even though there's no censorship on it at all, Odyssey can look at all the results that come back from the library network, and they can take out ones that are against their policy that they think might be illegal content or stuff like that. So Odyssey can still censor it, but they're much more broad-minded than the people at YouTube, and they do explain what they're doing and why they're doing it. So yeah, so that is basically how it works. It's kind of a peer-to-peer system. If you don't want it to be censored by Odyssey, then just download the library client from library.com, and you'll get all the content. And the only thing is there is a not safe for work filter on it, and if you click that filter, all the not safe for work stuff, it excludes it. But if you don't click that filter, it includes it. So everything is on library. So if you're easily offended, click the not safe for work thing and you'll not be offended. So it's as simple as that. But the right to have your content out there is something library has no control over, because of the way it was built. It was built to be anti-censorship. So yeah, so that's it, and we will be switching over to Odyssey, as I say, which is kind of the safe face of library, if you like, from the beginning of November. I'm a funny colour, aren't I? It's because I'm sat in an orange room with some tungsten lighting and some fluorescent lighting, so it's all a bit weird. But yeah, that's how it works. So that's how library and Odyssey and stuff works. But like I say, we've still got a month and a bit, basically. So I'm telling people now every week about it, just so everybody gets the idea and knows where we are come November. If you can't find us on Odyssey, then as I say, get yourselves over to andyshed.coldpress.net. I can't put the captions up this week because I'm only doing this off a phone. I'm doing it Big Clive style, straight off a phone. So I can't put the captions up or switch cameras or things this week. But yeah, normal service will probably be resumed next week, I would think. And normal service will continue also onto the new platform, because I'll just send the stream information. We use a thing called Open Broadcast Studio, or OBS, as people know it as. I will just send that stream to Odyssey instead of sending it to library. I've tested it this last week. It works fine. So yeah, cool. We have put some episodes up on Odyssey in the past, but they didn't do live streaming until relatively recently. They didn't offer it. It was a thing until relatively recently, Odyssey. So that's why we've not done the live streams to Odyssey before. But now we can do it. As I say, I've tested it and it's ace. Right. What is everybody up to? Bill says, what is it called again? The platform, Andy. It's called Odyssey, Bills, but it's spelt in a weird way. It's ODYSEE. That's ODYSEE. So it's Odyssey. And it's odyssey.com. Yeah, see, Keith spelt it wrong. It says Odyssey seems to have ads as well, Andy. Yeah, it does have ads. It's not ads that I'm objecting to. Although I must admit, I've not seen any ads on it myself. So I know they were going to try and introduce ads onto it. But I think you can turn them off. I don't object to the ads, provided the ads are a sensible amount in a sensible place. Now, I'm kind of assuming that most people on here are in the UK. There are very strict laws on television in the UK, very strict rules about how many ads you can play an hour and how many ad breaks you can have. And basically, you can't have an ad break that's more than, I don't know if it's 3 or 4 minutes long, and you can't have more than sort of 4 in an hour. So you can have about 16 minutes of ads in an hour is the maximum you can have. But YouTube, anybody who's watched a YouTube video recently and not had an ad blocker on, will know YouTube really does take the mick with their ads. In that you can have pre-roll ads, and then less than 5 minutes in, you get another set of ads, and then another couple of minutes, you get another set of ads, and another set of ads, and another set of ads. It really is more ads than content. And YouTube are sticking those ads in arbitrarily, making it more and more difficult for us to overrule them and say, no, don't want ads in this video. And I just got fed up of them for various reasons. And I'm no fan of big tech anyway. You won't find a single Apple product here. I've never owned an Apple product ever in my life. Certainly will never have an iPhone or anything like that. I've got maybe half a dozen computers. You won't find Microsoft Windows on any of them. you won't find any paid software on any of them. The only paid software that I have is a WordPress plugin from a business website, and it's a plugin to WordPress that I had to pay for, and it's the only thing that I do pay for. Everything else is open source software. All my computers run Linux, including some that did used to run Windows, and I have to say, when you get used to it, Linux is way, 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 way better than Windows. And whatever computer you've got, I guarantee if you wiped Windows off it, or if you wiped your Apple operating system off it and put a Linux operating system on, and whatever, and there's different flavors of Linux. There's things like Ubuntu and Linux Mint and Debian and that, and they're all different versions of Linux, if you like, different types. But whichever type you put on your computer, it will definitely run faster and smoother than it will with a Microsoft operating system on it, and it probably won't do as much spying on you either. Right, I'm just looking what folks are saying. Paul says, can you share the link to the new platform, please, Andy? Love seeing the phones in the loft. Yeah, I can't share it at the minute, Paul, because like I say, I'm doing this on a phone. It's a bit hard to type on it. But it is quite simply odyssey.com. ODYSEE.com. But yeah, it's as simple as that. That is the link to Odyssey, and then just search Andy Shed on Odyssey, and you'll find us. But I will get it up on the website. And perhaps in the transition, perhaps we'll do what I think we tried once before to do a live that was half YouTube and half, was it half Odyssey or was it half something else? We did a show, we switched halfway through. Can anybody remember us doing that? But I don't think it was Odyssey, because I don't think Odyssey had got their live streaming up and running at that point. I think we tried it on some other platform, something like Twitch or something like that. But I don't think it was Twitch. I think it was something else. But yeah, we'll do it with Odyssey. We'll have a go. Maybe next week or the week after, we'll have a go, and we'll do a show that is half and half, that switches in the middle, so you'll be able to switch over onto the other platform halfway through the show, and see the difference, perhaps. So yeah, so that's what's happening. Right. Keith says, tell us more about your boat trip, please. Bill says, is it spelled ODDOCY? No, Bill, it's spelled ODYSEE. ODYSEE. This is a big problem with it. Why they couldn't have spelt it the proper way of spelling Odyssey, I do not know. But it's spelled ODYSEE. Who has an internet site where you have to type the address in and it's a name that nobody can spell? How stupid is that? That is a stupid thing about it. But ODYSEE. Right. Chris says, when VLine withdraw the N-Class locos, I'm going to stop uploading videos on my YouTube channel because there'll be no interesting trains to film anymore. That's as good a reason as any to stop, Chris. As good a reason as any. Fat Hobbit says, did you enjoy the boat trip, Andy? I did, Fat Hobbit, yes. Being as people are asking, yes, I did enjoy the boat trip. We went from Leeds city centre, from the Tatty Dock, where they used to load loads of potatoes and that, apparently. From the Tatty Dock in Leeds city centre, we went to Thorn in Yorkshire. Basically, it took 3 days to do it. Well, it kind of took 2.5 days to do it. because I was finished a bit earlier this afternoon, which is why I'm here now. But yes, it was very enjoyable. The boat that we did it on, I'll show you some photos next week. But for anybody who wants to Google it, it was a Seamaster Commodore that we did it on. That's, I think it's about 27, 28 foot long, something like that. Prop drive boat, mid-mounted engine. The engine is an Austin engine, very similar to what they used to put in taxis and Land Rovers and stuff like that. But diesel sounds really nice. Engine sounds really, really nice. When you sat driving the boat, you can actually stand on top of the engine cover and drive the boat, and it does sound nice. It ticks away quite nicely. But yeah, unfortunately, I didn't film it, and the reason I didn't film it was because I've never driven a boat before. Well, if you discount the rowing boats around the local park, and I thought I'm going to have my hands full without adding a video camera into the mix, so we didn't film it. And the reason I was doing it in the first place was the two owners of the boat, the couple that were with me that I was doing it for, are registered blind. So they can't obviously steer the boat because they can't see where it's going. But they wanted a boat so they could have nice holidays and things on it. So basically they're going to get somebody to take it places for them, then they're going to go to it, or maybe travel on it with the person, and the person who's driven it is going to go home or whatever and leave them to have a nice holiday once it's moored up. So basically they're using it like a caravan on water kind of thing. So yeah, it's lovely. It's very nice. So yeah, but yeah, it's a Seamaster Commodore, built in the 60s or 70s. I'm not quite sure when this particular one was built, and it's in reasonably good condition. It's very nice inside. It's all varnished wood inside. Some of it wants a revarnish, and some of it's gone a little bit rotten around the windows, because of course windows, and anybody who's got a caravan will know that sort of caravan and boat windows leak a bit, so it's got a bit of work that wants doing on the inside of it. But in general, it's a very nice sort of periody kind of boat. So yeah, I'm sure there will be some videos and photos of it floating around on this channel, if you'll pardon the expression, floating around, somewhere in the near future. Bill says, thanks, Andy. If I don't see you again, you have helped me wire and rewire many telephones. I'm very grateful. I'm sure we'll see you, Bill. I'm sure you'll be able to get onto Odyssey. Why wouldn't you be able to? It's spelled Odyssee, and then just search for us. Or I say, when it happens, when we do switch over in a few weeks' time, and this is the case in general. I know we don't update that website very often. But if you can't find us any week for whatever reason, have a look at the website, andyshed.coldpress.net, and the page you land on will stick something on there where if something's gone wrong that says, look, this is where we are, or this is why we're not on this week. We'll always stick something on there. And you can always contact me through that as well. andyshed.coldpress.net. There is a contact us form on there. Send me a message to it. But yeah, Miget says, can I still use my name Miget1? It seems Odyssey still gets my vids that are on YouTube. Well, yeah, if Odyssey gets your vids that are on YouTube, Miget1, it's because at some point you've set up an account on Odyssey and you've clicked a button that says you're allowing them to republish your YouTube videos. So if your video is, I think it has to be under 60 minutes in length, Odyssey will automatically grab it and also put it onto their platform sometime after you've published it to YouTube. It sometimes happens within an hour or a couple of hours. It sometimes takes 2 or 3 days. It depends how backed up with copying jobs Odyssey is. But if your video, if you have clicked that thing on Odyssey to link it to your YouTube channel, and you must have, if they are republishing your YouTube videos, then if you keep publishing stuff to YouTube, it will automatically appear on Odyssey later. But you must have a name on Odyssey as well. So I'm guessing it will probably be the same as your YouTube name. You'd have to check that out. You'd have to try and log into Odyssey and see. But you've obviously registered something, whether it's the same as your YouTube name or not. You've registered something at some point in the past with Odyssey because you've given them the permission to take your YouTube videos and put them onto their site. So you've obviously been on there and logged in with some name or something. Whatever that name was is what you've got to use on Odyssey. So it may be the same as you want to use on YouTube. It might not. But only you know. But if you have any problems with it, that's why I'm telling people about this now. If you have any problems with it, we've got a few weeks to go. So feel free to come back on next week and say, look, I'm having problems doing this. Why can't I do it? And we'll help you do it. So yeah, that's why I'm telling you about this change kind of 6 weeks in advance. Paul says, if anyone interested, I found a really helpful chap up north that deals in phone systems, now setting up a PBX like Andy's that takes pulse dialing. Cool. That sounds excellent. Funky Fip says, oh joy, Andy drops the F-bomb. I nearly choke on my coffee. Wicked. Lol. Yes, it's YouTube. There. Yes. It's just YouTube there. Rubbish. Yeah. I'm just reading the chat. Sorry, I'm looking a bit funny because the camera's in the phone and I'm also scrolling on the phone at the same time. Dominic says, I've adjusted the tape head alignment on my Marantz CP430 tape recorder today, or cassette recorder. It made a huge difference. And playback sounds almost as good as my main Sony TC-K75 deck in the hi-fi. Excellent. What did you do to adjust the heads, Dominic? Can't say that I've ever heard of anybody doing that before. Dominic says, PBX system sounds like it might be an alternative to BT's VoIP system. Yeah, I think it is, basically. Paul says that as well. He says, yeah, it's absolutely correct, Dominic. This chap is ex-GPO and really helpful. I told him about this channel and he said he'd look in. So if you're looking in, PBX building chap, hello. Get in touch. Let us know who you are. Maybe we could get you on here one day and get you on a call with us or something, and maybe you could answer a few questions for people. Dominic says, my work sometimes takes me not that far away from Thorn. Did you see the swing bridge around there? We've been through lots of swing bridges today on the canal, and lots of canal swing bridges. Yeah, there's a railway swing bridge around there. Is that what you're on about, Dominic? But we've been through lots of canal swing bridges and lift bridges today. We've been through about 6 or 7 today, all of which I had to operate myself by pressing lots of buttons. Scary. Never driven a bridge before. Christopher says, I've just signed up to Odyssey now. Excellent, Christopher. Enjoy it. You'll find it's a good site. Dominic says there's a little adjustment screw on the tape deck that you can access with the door open. So what does the adjustment do though, Dominic? So that's what I'm interested in. What does the adjustment do? Right, I've got through the chat, I think. As you can see, I am in the loft this evening with all the telephones around me, including the switchboard up here that Christopher's already noticed. Which one's the new one? I think that one's the latest one to arrive. I think that one came first, the little one, and I think the big one. And the big one came from Andrew in Wales. Do you remember the guy I went to see around about Christmas time, or I think it was January, wasn't it? January, February time-ish. I went to see him, and I videoed it, and we showed it on here one day. That came from him. That big one up there. Of course, he said, "I don't know what to do with this." I said, "I've got this. It's a bit surplus to my requirements," he said. Yeah, so it's ended up living here. Yeah, if you're watching, Andrew, hello. Sorry about the bad impression. But Welsh is one of the things I can slightly do Welsh. I have to be a bit careful though, because sometimes it turns into the big mates and kind of turns into Indian sometimes. So I have to, it's very difficult. Sure, I'll get a YouTube strike for that, but what the hell? Dominic says the little adjustment screw in the tape machine, it moves the head so it's properly aligned with the tape path. The high end suffers quite a lot if it's not aligned. I've got one of those Marantz decks somewhere, Dominic, and it's never worked. I've never been able to get a peep out of it. I might have to bring it to you and see if you can work some magic on it. Paul says, I know this isn't the end of Andy Shed's channel, but I'd like to say these live feeds have been the highlight of my week for ages, and it's great to be with like-minded people. So thanks all. Well, yes, it's not the end, Paul, and you can easily move over to Odyssey. Although, like I say, the back end of it is very different in how it works. To basically stop people deleting stuff. The front end of it is very similar to YouTube. So if you've not tried it yet, odyswe.com, then try it. Register on it. Get yourself an account on it. Register on it. And just watch some videos on it. And you'll watch some live streams on it even. You'll find on the live streams they've got live chat enabled and that. Just like on YouTube, it basically is a very similar looking thing, and it does a very similar thing. It just does it in the back end, what you don't see behind the scenes. It just does it in a different way. Paul says, my wife thinks I'm a sad old fart for playing with old telephones. Wait until the power goes off and a new BT phone doesn't work, Paul. Dominic says, I echo that, Paul. Great little community here. Oh, yeah, we have, aren't we? And it's expanded as well in recent times. But, yeah, we'd like it to expand some more. So if you know any like-minded folk, tell them where we are. Christopher says, I got my Ericsson wood switchboard working on a 40-volt DC power supply. Excellent. I've got to find a power supply for this thing sitting in front of me, this tester. I'm sure I've shown you this before. But this tester, if I turn the camera around, this is a tester that you would have had in a telephone exchange years ago. Now, it's not switched on at the minute, so I can't really show you much of it. But this is a tester that you would have had in a telephone exchange, and it enables you to either test from the tester to the exchange, or test from the tester to the extension, which is why it says test exchange or test line. So it sits kind of between on a telephone line between the exchange and the line, even though it's normally actually used in the exchange building. So you can test the line, and ring it. So there's a ring thing there, so you can go test line, and that ring whoever's got a phone on that particular extension or line, whoever your subscriber is, as BT used to call them. Or you can test the exchange. You can test the other way into the exchange and ring into the exchange. But it only partly works at the minute because it needs a DC power supply to work part of it that I've not actually put in it as yet. But there is a sort of pulses per second thing that I'm hoping I'll be able to get working and all that here, you see. And then there's a voltmeter here, and you can actually make calls from this. It's got a dial and it's got a handset. You'll see. All the handset and the line sort of plug in here. So, yeah. It's all exciting stuff. I will get round to getting it fully working one of these days. But I haven't managed it yet. Chris says, I'm watching your live stream off my phone now because my laptop is playing up now, like my N1900 phone. Oh dear, Christopher. Have you got the gremlins in today? Nothing working today, Christopher. I have days like that when nothing works. It's not just you. Don't worry about it, mate. It happens to the best of us. Right, turn the camera around again so you can see me again. Yeah, it happens to the best of us. That I have days where nothing works, and it's always happens on the same day as well. You have a day where you get up in the morning and just everything you touch seems to break. It's not like one thing a day that breaks. You go for ages with nothing breaking, then you have one day where everything you touch just fails. Yeah, it's very odd. Right, I said it was going to be a shorter show than normal tonight. I have got to nip off in just a few minutes' time, but hopefully we'll be kind of back to normal, should be hopefully next week. So please join us again next week for another Andy Shed Live, when you will see more of the telephones and things. We will continue trying to get that Bakelite phone working that we've been doing up. I said I've got some more innards for Bakelite phones. They are up here in a box behind me. The spare innards are in this box here, I believe. If I can open it. Can I open it? Yes. See? Innards for 300 series phones. So we'll probably put one of those in, because they're probably going to be in better condition than that grotty one that's in it at the minute. And then we'll try and get that phone working again. That's an incredibly heavy box with all them in it. So that's something for next week, perhaps. As I normally say, remember, if you like what we do here, you can join us on Patreon. We are on Patreon, and we will be remaining on Patreon. Patreon.com/Andy Shed, where you sometimes get a little extra blog post or two. I might put a couple of pictures of the boat up on there later for anybody who's a patron. And like I say, we'll have some photos on here next week as well. Christopher says he set up his GC746 Mark 1 on 4G. Interesting. That'll be interesting. See how that works. Might be a lot of people doing that when digital voice comes in here, Christopher. Yeah, that might be a way for you to do it, Dominic. Right, I'm going to go because I've got to answer a telephone call. Somebody who keeps trying to ring me. So I will see you all next week. But for me, for now, ta-ra.